So you're a salesperson and you're working with a prospective customer or client, and you've gone through your presentation and you've asked lots of questions. You're getting ready to finalize the deal that you're confident is going to happen, and then the customer throws out, well, let me think about it. Now what do you do? Kevin Ware, your action business coach, and this is a classic stall tactic that customers do, and it's one of the most frustrating things that you encounter as a salesperson, but it's very tricky how to deal with this issue. Go too hard on them, chase them away. Go too soft on them, they never follow through. How do we deal with finding that fine line that allows you to close the deal without coming across as the ultimate pushy salesperson? So we're going to go over 5 things that we need to take a look at in order to overcome this very particular, I don't even call it an objection, it's simply a stall. So the first thing we have to take a look at is, what did you do to garner this objection? You know, one of the things that a mentor of mine once told me is that you as a salesperson are almost always the person who created the objection. I had to think about that, and I realized that when we get the let me think about it, somehow we created that stall. And what did we do? The question is, did we give them enough information to actually make the decision? Maybe they just don't have enough headspace wrapped around the issue to actually make the decision. And that kind of gets down to what sort of preparation did you do to give that customer enough touches, enough contact, enough stuff along the way so that they can make a decision. Too many times we find that we rush the process through. We haven't really given that customer our attention or enough contact with that person in order for them to feel comfortable in making the decision with you. Much of that is a relationship issue. You haven't developed enough of a relationship with the customer to trust that you're the person to take them through this journey of whatever product or service that you're selling them. So that's the first one. The second one is, why are they telling you this? Generally, one of the things that I find is that how can we read people to know if they are just stalling or they are honestly really they have some decision hesitancy. We have the analyticals of the world. The analyticals always overthink anything. So if you have somebody who tends to ask a lot of questions and then wants to put the brakes on the deal, maybe we need to give them a lot more information to make a decision. Let's say they are somebody who gets straight to the point and they're very boom, 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 and then they give you that let me think about it stall. That's not really truly need to think about it. Something is telling them not to go forward, even though you and I probably know that they should be. So we've got to find a way to get over that decision-making hesitancy. One of the biggest reasons I hear this, let me think about it, is that they are not always the decision maker. Somebody else is in the mix to make a decision. How do we overcome that? We need to ask them very clearly, are you the person that's going to be making the decision today, or is anybody else involved in this decision? And if somebody else is involved in the decision, then you need to make sure that they're along the ride with you. Okay? So now, the third thing is we have the question. And I'm not going to call this the magic question, but it gets down to the point. When somebody tells you, well, I need to think about it, you ask this question. What is it specifically you need to think about? And use that word specifically. That's the key right there. So when you get that question there, that forces them in a way to get really directly specific about why they are not wanting to make a decision at that point. A lot of times some people just have a very strong philosophy of never making a decision on that point. and they can express it to you. Other times they have a little bit of concern or question or a deeper discussion that needs to happen around a particular feature, for particular issue in the service or whatever you're doing. So remember, get that question. What is it specifically you need to think about? Number 4 is that if you need to honor that, let me think about it, find a way to shorten the time frame. You know, one of the things I always like to do with somebody in sales is that, okay, how long do you need to think about it? And if they're going to say, oh, I need a week to think about it, okay, you don't need to have a week to think about it. Find a way to shorten the time. Something like, hey, I understand, I really would, for me to move forward and make some arrangements, I need a decision. Could you make it by this time tomorrow? Because always remember, the longer they have a time frame to think about it, the more chances are that they are not going to go with you. So that's everything is the shorter the time frame, the more you're going to be able to close the sale. The longer the time frame, the less chance you have. And then number 5, what offer can you give them to decide on the spot to help them in that decision making? Maybe you have something that says, hey, this is the offer. You know, we have a specific offer. If you make a decision today and we buy this today, or you buy it within the next 24 hours, we will throw in X, Y, and Z. And it can be, again, something that may be high perceived value, low hard cost to you. So what are those things that you can throw in to help them make that decision at that point? Maybe that's the tipping point where they're going to go, oh, okay. And again, it helps them solidify that decision on the spot. And again, it may not be good for you guys, but there are some times when you can throw that offer in there that will get them to move off the mark. So let's go over those 5. Number 1, what did you do to garner the objection? Number 2, why are they telling you this? Kind of have a deeper dive into why they're saying that. Number 3, what is it specifically you need to talk about? Get that clarified. Number 4, find a way to shorten the time frame. And number 5, throw in an offer that has a very tight time frame that they can take advantage of to make the decision. So now what? So one of the things we offer is some sales training. We got a 12-week sales class coming up. So why don't you go ahead and put a message down below that you'd like to talk with me, and let's see if this is going to be something that can help you out. Hopefully today's video helped you out to overcome the classic "let me think about it" stall. Have a great day.